Hello, good day everyone. We are the researchers, Group 6. We are here today to present our research study entitled Brought in Online Shopping Sites and Factors Experienced by Filipino Young Professionals. But first, let me introduce myself. I'm Nino Madelo from Elective SysAd. Second is our leader, Templo Neva Sofia Colin, Balunes Prince Patrick, and Padrique Joshua from Elective IS. Also, from the Elective of Data Science, Jeff Legaspi DJ Paul. So, online shopping is one of the platforms which allows the consumer to directly buy goods from the seller over the internet. According to a study done by the Federal Trade Consumer, 14 million citizens, or about 16% of the total population respondents, have experienced online purchasing fraud. The researcher studies sustainable development goal is SDG number 8 that specify decent work and economic growth that promotes development-oriented policies that support productive activities, decent job creation, entrepreneurship, creativity, and innovation, and encourage the formulation of and growth of micro. As a result of pandemic lockdowns, physical store shutdowns, and others, due to response to the COVID-19 pandemic, young Filipino consumers have begun to purchase online. According to the study of Rick Levin 2016, young professionals' eagerness to learn and enhance their prospects makes them an ideal target respondents since they value knowledge and awareness. According to Federal Trade Commission, the range of 20 to 29 years old, that 40% of them lost their money in fraud. In addition, according to Lesis Nesis Risk Solution Reports, the oldest age group loses the most money as a result of online fraud. Furthermore, Gabrino Stahil-Bliss confirmed that females have high risk of online shopping rather than men. The study involves around 100 people took part in the study who came from various places around the National Capital Region or NCR. Approximately, the study has 39.8 male and has 60.2 are female and average age of 21. In addition, 65% are undergraduate students and only 35% of them are graduates. The study aimed to determine the factors that are still permitted regarding frauds in online shopping sites that are experienced by young Filipino professionals who may be digital natives. The study aims to know the factors that contribute to safe online shopping. Specifically, the researchers shall pursue the following objectives. The first is to know the underlying factors that contribute to online fraud. The second is identify the relationship of each factor with one another. In the study, 43 questions is being used to accomplish the research questionnaire. The research questionnaire was divided into several factors which is personal fraud experience, store information and payment, product information, and store credibility. The study used descriptive statistics method to obtain the summary measurements of the data. In the measure of correlation of the demographics of the factors used in the sampling adequacy, the multivariate analysis was also used as well as the statistical package for social science or SPSS to validate the data in order to interpret the results using statistical method. Also, the data of the study underwent a test called KMO or Kaiser-Meyer-Olkin was used to ensure the validity of the gathered data from both gender as well to identify the sampling adequacy. The components in the study that were panelized were tested using a reliability test in which front batch alpha was used, which is greater than equal 0.8 is good according to front batch. Also, to measure the consistency of each variable accounted for by selected components, the researchers used communalities to be able to know the real underlying factor. The researcher checked the Elgin value and total variance explained. The researcher also assessed and checked the data in the rotated component matrix to be able to cluster the variable based on its similarities. Lastly, to be able to identify the relationship between the components and the demographic profile, The researcher utilized Pearson correlation coefficient.
So here are the result and discussion. The study shows that there are 4 factors experienced by Filipino young professionals that are contributing to online shopping fraud. The 4 factors were put into a reliability test using Cronbach Alpha. So the first factor is personal fraud experience factor, that there is 4.626% in total variance. Next is the store information and payment factor, that there is 5.516% in total variance. The third factor, which is the product information, that has 46.969% in total variance. The last factor tested is store credibility, resulting in 9.408% in total variance. The researchers ensures that there is no single item loaded in 2 different factors. The 46.959% in total variance explains that there is also pertaining to the highest mean score, which is deceiving product information, that has a mean score of 5.7063. Therefore, among all the factors, deceiving product information is the main reason why Filipino young professionals are more likely to be the victim of online shopping fraud. On the other hand, product information has the lowest value of the standard deviation. Out of 103 respondents, there are consistent that product information is the main reason why they are attracted to buy in online stores. Also, based on the research of Philippine Star in 2020, receiving fake products will be the most common online shopping fraud, which is also our study claims. The data gathered from frauds in online shopping sites and factors experienced by Filipino young professional questionnaires were treated with correlation to find the relationship between the factors. The Kaiser-Meyer-Olkin measure of sampling adequacy has an output of 0.879, which is enough sample for us to determine the factors and correlation between them. Descriptive statistics was used to analyze the data more deeply using the different demographics answers in relation to the factors. Statistical analysis result shows that female young professionals have higher levels of purchasing power than the male. Females have a higher mean on every factors, especially on the product information, where they tend to be deceived by the information posted on online shopping sites rather than male. Most of the factors in females have higher mean than on male. That is why female resulted to have a higher mean on the personal fraud experience. The study also found out that the people who have high income tend to have more experience in fraud rather than the people who have low income. Also, researchers found out that the higher the age of the participant, the higher the chance of them experiencing fraud in online shopping. That to be discussed on the correlation analysis on the next slide. For the correlation analysis, age has a positive correlation on the factor 1, which is the personal fraud experience, which means that the higher the age of the participant, the higher the possibility of experiencing fraud in online shopping sites. Next is the income, that has a positive relationship on the factor 1, which also means that the people who have high income tends to have experiencing of fraud in online shopping platforms. Years of employment have a negative correlation to store information and payment. On the other hand, gender has a negative correlation on the factor 2 and factor 4. While for the city of residence has also a negative correlation on factor 1, which is the personal fraud experience, and factor 2, which is the store information and payment. In conclusion, due to COVID-19 pandemic, most of the consumers were spending their time online and found out that the Generation Z consumers have the strongest influence to shop online, based on the Koch Julia in 2020. In this study, statistical analysis results concluded that female young professionals show higher levels of purchasing power online than male. Also, based on the statistical results, the research concludes that females have a higher mean on every factor rather than male, especially on the factor 3, which is the product information in online shopping sites, which is the most of the females were deceived. Thus, the researchers conclude that the females tend to have more experience on frauds while shopping online. The study of Gabrinos Tahilevitz in 2004 confirmed that females perceived higher risk of online shopping rather than men. The study also found out that the participants that have a high income had the higher possibility of experiencing fraud rather than the people who have low income. Also, the research concludes that the higher the age of the participants, the higher the possibility of experiencing fraud in online shopping sites based on the statistical analysis results. Like in the study of Jackson in 2017, people of the old age tend to be the most victim of fraud because they lack knowledge of risk buying online. In order to further sustain safe online shopping, the researchers recommended online selling platform to review the ratings of the past customers in every merchant or seller. Said platforms shall also implement strict rules and guidelines when it comes on assuring the quality of the product being sold by the merchants. Also, the finding and data gathered of the study could also be used in computer engineering, specifically the field of data science. The researchers recommended a software to be developed in analyzing data and better machine learnings, wherein the data that has been collected can also be used as a data sets when it becomes a larger sets. Here are the directions for future research. This study was conducted during pandemic period, which also resulted at the limited information and data gathered to yield a better results. Firstly, as e-commerce will be the part of the new normal, future researchers may conduct the research in post-pandemic period for data gathering to be more successful. Secondly, this study focuses more on young professionals who are more digitally literate. This study suggests that future research may expand into a broader age classification of future respondents as well as looking truly at the relevance of how the income of the respondents affect the possibility of being fraud while shopping online. Lastly, the researchers only come with 4 construct factors, but future researchers may find other factors that contribute to fraudulent activities in online shopping. Thus, a mixed method of quantitative and qualitative analysis might be pursued for interpreting numbers and correlation as well as the use of words for an easier analysis and data interpretation. The findings and data gathered of the study could be used in computer engineering, specifically in the field of data science. The researchers recommended a software to be developed in analyzing data and better machine learning, wherein the data that has been collected can also be used as a data set when it becomes a larger set. Also, the dataset that will be used to predict if the person has experienced fraud or not, with the use of demographics that are correlated as mentioned in the previous discussions. With the correlation as the said software shall contribute to the awareness of online shoppers pertaining to fraud possibilities. The data can also be used to create a website that has a good fraud detection on the online shopping site. It can be used to determine if the seller will have instances of frauds or there are feedbacks of previous customers related to fraud.
So, our possible paper conference is first, strengthening Tibet education in Industrial Revolution during COVID-19 pandemic outbreak in September 14 to 15, 2021. And the second is 12 EAI International Conference on Digital Forensic and Cybercrime in December 7 to 9, 2021, Singapore. And the lastly, International Conference on Fraud in Financial Crimes in July 29 to 30, 2021 in Zurich, Switzerland. And once again, I'm Nino Madelo of the Group 6, presenting to you the study of fraud in online shopping sites and factors experienced by young Filipino professionals. And have a good day. Thank you for listening.